Stop looking for longevity in a plastic bottle. Your doctor and the $150 billion supplement industry have a dead angle they don't want you to see. In 1935, the most powerful medicine in America was being poured down the kitchen sink. Your ancestors didn't have wellness coaches or gut health gummies. They had wood smoke, cast iron, and a biological intuition that transformed what we now call trash into a metabolic fortress. While modern medicine treats your symptoms, these 10 forgotten black ancestral protocols were busy repairing the actual root causes of chronic disease. Number 7 on this list is a medicinal tea made from literal waste that outperforms modern liver detox pills. And number 1, the trash broth, contains a specific mineral extraction so potent that it was documented by Tuskegee researchers as a biological cure for malnutrition. Hit that subscribe button. It is time to reclaim the biological sovereignty they spent 70 years making you forget. 10. Ash cake and cornmeal mush, the retrogradation protocol. In the 1930s, black families couldn't afford refined wheat. They used coarse, stone-ground cornmeal, stirred until it pulled away from the sides of the pot. But the genius wasn't in the cooking, it was in the cooling. The Vaxalis, science. When you cook cornmeal and then allow it to cool overnight, or bake it in the alkaline environment of wood ashes, you trigger a process called starch retrogradation. This transforms standard carbohydrates into resistant starch, off ARS3. Unlike modern white bread, which spikes your insulin and feeds pathogenic bacteria, RS3 travels untouched to your colon. There, it is fermented into butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that serves as the primary fuel for your intestinal T cells. By eating poor man's mush for 2 cents a pound, your ancestors were building a gut barrier that was virtually immune to the systemic inflammation we see in the cereal and milk generation of 2026. 9. Dried bean soup, the lectin deactivation secret. Mothers would spend hours picking out pebbles before soaking pinto or navy beans overnight. Biologically, this was a high-level decontamination protocol. The Vaxalis. Science. Modern biohackers fear lectins, the plant proteins that can irritate the gut lining. However, the ancestral method of a 24-hour soak, followed by an 8-hour simmer in a cast iron kettle, completely deactivates these anti-nutrients. This process breaks down the complex oligosaccharides that cause gas and bloating, rendering the minerals, specifically molybdenum and folate, 100% bioavailable. When ladled over day-old cornbread, the amino acid profile becomes a complete protein matrix. It provided more usable cellular fuel than a steak, costing only pennies and stabilizing the glycemic load of the entire family for a week. Pattern break, the 1965 generational theft. Here is the dead angle your doctor won't discuss. Around 1965, the food industry launched a psychological operation. They convinced families that boiling a bean or foraging a green was backwards, and that progress was a can of processed chemicals. They didn't just sell you convenience. They performed a generational theft of your biological knowledge. They needed you to lose your biological sovereignty, so you would become a permanent customer for the $50 probiotics required to fix the damage caused by their modern food. 8. Sugar-free sweet potato pie, the amylase transformation. When refined sugar was too expensive, black cooks used the power of roasting. By roasting sweet potatoes slowly in their skins, they utilize natural amylase enzymes to convert complex starches into maltose. This is a masterclass in insulin management. Modern desserts use sucrose and high-fructose corn syrup, which cause immediate liver fat. This ancestral pie, held together by a lard and flour crust, provided a lipid buffer. The animal fat in the lard slows down the absorption of the natural sugars, ensuring a steady timed release of beta-carotene, the precursor to vitamin A, see 20 or 30 $. This maintained the skin barrier integrity and immune function of children who had no access to modern medicine. It was a celebration of density, requiring 0 grams of industrial poison. 7. Onion skin tea, the Senolytic trash remedy. When food ran out or a fever hit, Grandma didn't reach for a pill. She reached for the trash in the corner of the kitchen. Onion skins are the most concentrated source of quercetin, C15HGH10O7, on the planet. Quercetin is a powerful senolytic, meaning it selectively helps your body clear out old, zombie cells that drive the aging process. It also acts as a zinc ionophore, creating a gateway for zinc to enter your cells and stop viral replication in its tracks. By steeping these skins into a golden brown tea, our ancestors were creating a medicinal infusion that supported vascular health and respiratory resilience. Your doctor calls it discarded skins. Vaxalis calls it a free biological defense against the cytokine storms of the modern world. 6. Peanut soup, the resveratrol longevity anchor. This dish has deep roots in West African longevity traditions. It was rough, grainy, and honest, tasting of earth and survival. Peanuts are not just protein, they are a reservoir of resveratrol and coenzyme Q10. By grinding them into a paste and simmering them with onions, our ancestors created a high-density lipid protocol. This soup provided the monounsaturated fats necessary for brain development and the production of sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. This prevented the protein hunger that causes modern humans to overconsume empty calories. It was a nutrient-dense fuel injection for the heart that cost less than 5 cents a bowl in 1938. 5. Fried fish heads, the phospholipid brain protocol. While others threw these away, Black families knew the cheeks were the prize. But the real Vaxalis secret is hidden in the skull. The Vaxalis. Science. Fish heads contain the highest concentration of DHA, omega-3, and phosphatidylcholine found in nature. These are the literal architectural materials for your nervous system and your retinas. By dredging these heads in cornmeal and frying them until the bones were crispy enough to crunch, our ancestors were consuming bioavailable calcium and phosphorus. Children who gnawed on these waste parts were receiving a cognitive enhancement protocol that outperformed any modern brain supplement in a bottle. We traded this nose-to-tail intelligence for fish sticks made of starch and filler, and our collective IQ and focus have suffered the consequences. 4. Okra soup, the gut bandage mucilage. The slime that modern diners find off-putting is the Vaxalis secret weapon, mucilage. Okra mucilage is a unique form of soluble fiber that acts as a biological bandage for the gut lining. As it simmered with tomatoes and onions, it created a viscous delivery system for antioxidants. This mucilage binds to bile acids and heavy metals, flushing them out of the system before they can be reabsorbed. It acts as a prebiotic shield, feeding the Akkermansia muciniphila bacteria, which are responsible for keeping your gut lining thick and healthy. By eating this soup with cornbread, families were performing a daily internal repair for pennies, protecting themselves from the autoimmune diseases that are now skyrocketing. 3. Dandelion greens, the liver bile stimulant. Black women taught their daughters to gather these from vacant lots and roadsides. While we spray them with toxins today, Grandma knew they were free vitality. The Vaxalis. Science. Dandelion greens contain more vitamin K1 for blood clotting and vitamin A for immune function than spinach, but their real power lies in their bitterness. These bitter alkaloids stimulate the release of bile from the gallbladder. Bile is the body's primary detergent for breaking down fats and emulsifying fat-soluble toxins. By wilting these greens with hot bacon fat, our ancestors were using an animal lipid to unlock the vitamins in the plant. It was a phases 1 and 2 liver detox, performed in 5 minutes for $0. 2. Neck bones and rice, the collagen and marrow matrix. Butchers sold neck bones for pennies because they were waste meat. They were wrong. Neck bones are the richest source of ligaments and cartilage. When simmered for hours, these tissues break down into gelatin and glycine. Glycine is the primary amino acid required for collagen synthesis. Modern bone broth companies charge $15 a carton for this, but your ancestors were getting a superior version for under 50 cents. By sucking the marrow from the bones, children were receiving a concentrated dose of heme iron and growth factors. This was the structural foundation of the Black community, building strong bones and resilient joints in an era of backbreaking physical labor. 1. Biscuits and pot liquor, the mineral extraction king. Pot liquor is the dark, smoky liquid left in the pot after boiling greens with ham hocks. In the 1930s, this wasn't water, it was liquid life. This is a medical-grade electrolyte and mineral infusion. Every trace mineral that leached out of the collard greens, Magnesium, potassium, iron, and calcium ended up concentrated in that broth. Tuskegee University researchers found that families who consumed pot liquor regularly had significantly lower rates of chronic disease and malnutrition. It is the ultimate anemia cure and heart health hack. While we spend billions on synthetic vitamins today, your ancestors were drinking the world's most powerful multivitamin for free. It remains the absolute secret to ancestral metabolic sovereignty. These survival dishes weren't poverty food, they were a masterclass in biological efficiency. Ordinary people weathered extraordinary hardship because they knew how to extract every molecule of value from the land. We traded the quercetin of the onion and the collagen of the neck bone for $50 probiotics in plastic bags. My challenge to you, don't buy a supplement this week. Make the okra soup, Mabra 4, or the pot liquor, or 1. Reclaim your biological sovereignty. Which of these ancestral miracles did your grandmother swear by? Let me know in the comments if you still save the liquid gold. At Vaxalis, we are harvesting the roots to fuel the future. I am the Vaxalis doctor. Thanks for watching.